Hey, everybody, welcome back to the podcast. It's not technically the debut episode of something that has been known as BuckIQ in the past, but it is the first one at the podcast with Zach Boren, the one and only, the reader and reactor, the silver bullet breakdown king. We're back together, man, and we have some football to break down.
We're back, man. It feels so good, especially after a top 5 victory. God, man, the silver bullets are back, and it couldn't be any better.
I was going to say, do they get the moniker back if they hold Notre Dame, a top 5 matchup, hold Notre Dame at 10 points, about 250 yards, a shutout in the second half? That seems like it meets the standard.
Of course, man. That's the talk of everyone right now, of Buckeye Nation, of the national media. It's finally the silver bullets are back. So if you see everyone else around the country taking notice of this defense, primetime Saturday night, man, they deserve all the praise that they can get right now.
All right, Zach. If I ask you about that outing on Saturday night and what you saw on the field, what's the first thing that comes to your mind? What was the most impressive thing that Jim Knowles did?
You want to know something? The most important thing I thought was the very first drive. Hey, you dial up a blitz early on. I think it was the first play of the game or second play of the game. You get beat on it. You run after the ball. You have the effort. You tackle the receiver at the 30-yard line, I believe, and then you hold them to a field goal. In my mind, that set the tone for the entire game. Normally, in seasons past, you would see, hey, give up a big play. All right, guess what? We're going back to bend but don't break defense, and you see them, give up a touchdown. Saturday night, they give up a big play. They say, you want to know something? It happens. Let's go back to attacking them. We're going on the offense, even though we're the defense. And guess what? We're making a big stop and making them take a field goal. In my mind, that was everything. You obviously saw the second half and what the Ohio State defense was able to do from an adjustment standpoint. But I loved the entire game. It didn't matter what happened, what Notre Dame tried throwing at them. They were playing downhill. They were being aggressive, and they were on the go at all times.
Did it exceed your expectations? We talked about, we knew there'd be improvements. You had veteran players back out there. We expected that Ohio State would be much better with Jim Knowles making almost $2 million to fix that unit. But was that better than what you thought it would be? Was that exactly what you thought it would look like? How did you evaluate that part?
I thought it was better. And the reason why I say that is because the first game of the year, and in my mind, it was a perfect game. Everyone say perfect means shutout, not giving up any big plays. I think the opposite. I think, hey, you give up some big plays, you face adversity. Defense, you're going to swing and miss. It just happens. You're going to give up big plays here and there. It's how do you respond to it? Do you stay on the attack? The other thing that I loved, first game of the season, and guess what? No missed tackles. There were hardly any missed tackles all game. That's what I love. Yes, there were some plays that could have been made, but man, guys were running around the football. Guys were taking proper pursuit angles. Guys were playing downhill. You saw a bunch of guys making plays when the plays needed to be made. That's why I say it was a perfect debut for this Silver Bullet defense.
All right, so let's rewind to last year's Tulsa game. And you and I had been saying, well, Tommy Eichenberg didn't make a tackle in that game, but he's done a lot of encouraging things and he's got a bright future. I'm not trying to pat us on the back. There were people that were really concerned and they formed opinions about Tommy Eichenberg based off of that one outing and then didn't maybe track what led up to the Rose Bowl or still had questions about him coming into Saturday night. And I know that you felt strongly that Ohio State could build around Tommy Eichenberg in the middle there. And then he certainly validated that on Saturday night. It's kind of hard to believe maybe how far he's come in a year, but it's also not something that you had not been projecting for him.
We saw it last year. We talked about it. We thought that Ohio Sate could build around Tommy and Steel Chambers as linebackers. We were talking about it all last year. Yeah, Buckeye Nation and people on the outside have always given this linebacker core a hard time for the past couple of years, dating back to Borland, right?
Yep.
But it comes out to Tommy Eichenberg has been there this whole time. Tommy Eichenberg has been the voice of the defense. He kept them together last year. And you even brought up the Utah game in the Rose Bowl last year. Tommy Eichenberg balled out, and everyone talked about everyone but Tommy Eichenberg in that game. Everyone was getting all this praise but Tommy Eichenberg. Tommy is a great player. Tommy is the one who's running that defense now. Jim Knowles has talked about it. Tommy Eichenberg is the first guy that he said picked up this defense and was the voice out there making sure everyone was in the right place at the right time. Tommy came out this past Saturday night and showed everyone what he can do, and he's only going to build on that.
He had a phenomenal outing in that win over Notre Dame. 9 tackles, 3 tackles for loss, 2 sacks. And he's going to be the focus of our first breakdown here on the podcast with Zach Boren. Let's roll the tape. All right, Zach, key situation early on in the game here for the Buckeyes. And 3rd and 4, you've got to get a stop. 1 possession game. Jim Knowles gets a little aggressive, and it's another example of how much he trusts Tommy Eichenberg, right?
He does. And what I love so much from Saturday night is Jim Knowles was given the offense kind of the same look with walking guys around. You saw Jack Sawyer moving around a lot. Here you see Tommy Eichenberg and some of these other guys walking around. But when they gave you this look, they were dialing different things up. And here I love this. The Notre Dame quarterback here is thinking, okay, these guys are walking around 3rd and 4. Guess what? They're going to show blitz and then they're going to drop out of it. Instead, they walk around, look like they're showing blitz and bring it. And you see them bringing it from the bunch here on the top end of Notre Dame's formation. Tommy Eichenberg comes underneath, not even touched. Great play, makes the tackle. But hey, this goes to even show what the defensive line's doing right here. They're doing the perfect job because they're getting across the offensive lineman's face. They're taking they're doing their responsibility and taking the attention of the offensive center here so he can't peel back. But Tommy Eichenberg, man, he was flying around all game long. This was a massive play early on in this game, and great play here, Tommy.
Well, and look at I don't remember seeing a lot of blitzes quite like this, Zach. You know much better than me. But you've got Ronnie Hickman firing. It looks like you've got Cam Brown coming in a little bit, maybe from the secondary at the top of the screen. And then Tommy Eichenberg then winds up with a free run up the middle. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't remember seeing Ohio State bring this amount of pressure in quite the same way.
No, you're 100% right. 3rd and 4, you would see them bring maybe a backer. Sometimes they would bring backer and nickel safety. Here you see them bring in 3 guys, right, from the field. This is a big dial-up blitz, and especially after they get beat early on in this game, for them to come back and still being aggressive, which we discussed, this is a huge play for them. And yes, Jim Knowles was dialing things up all game long, and you're going to continue to see this throughout the year. But the most important thing is you have to be able to show the same look but do different things like we talked about. So you're going to see them, or we saw them Saturday night walking around giving this look, and then they drop at the snap. Here, guess what? They give the same look and bring the pressure. Notre Dame quarterback had no idea what was coming.
Worked out pretty well there in a key situation, not afraid of doing it. The other part, obviously, it goes without saying, it was build up to the game. You've got to stop the run if you're Ohio State. Reason why it didn't beat Oregon, couldn't beat in the rivalry last year. They weren't able to stop the run. These are those situations where they're answering the bell, it seems like, at least early.
No doubt. And if you run this back a little bit, I want everyone to watch Tommy Eichenberg right here. This is the difference between last year and the years prior to this year. And you saw this Saturday night. This is an RPO type thing for Notre Dame, right? They're bringing motion back, or they're bringing motion across the formation. The linebackers are bumping a little bit at the pre-snap, but everyone watch Tommy right here. He slow plays this because the quarterback is, even though, yes, he's looking at D-line. Look at this. Tommy Eichenberg's right in place. If the quarterback were to keep this for Notre Dame, Tommy Eichenberg's right there. Look at this. Stop it right there. Look at where Tommy Eichenberg compared to the quarterback. Right there. He slow plays it perfectly. As soon as he sees the quarterback gives this, watch this. Plays downhill, plays fast. He sees the give, takes off, crossover run, get downhill, and look at this. Jack Sawyer plays it perfectly, bringing everything back to the inside. Bam. Tommy Eichenberg making a play 2 yards behind the line of scrimmage after already playing it slow to make sure the quarterback gives it and he stays in the proper position. So many times we've seen in years past the linebackers overflow, or the linebackers don't play downhill after the quarterback gives it. You see them playing so much faster, not thinking as much, doing the proper things. Goes back to how we started this, reading and reacting. You're seeing them make the right reads and then reacting and playing downhill quickly. This is a perfect play by Tommy Eichenberg.
First read and react of the year. Gosh, I love it so much. And look at this, Zach. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 silver bullets around the football.
Silver bullets running to the football. You saw this all night long on Saturday, and Jim Knowles and his defense staff is preaching this, and they've been preaching it all offseason. There wasn't much pursuing to the football and running after the football. This play ends, and almost every silver bullet helmet is in the frame. That's what the coaches look for. That's what you want to see from a defense.
Not too bad. And then some more of this reading and reacting for Ohio State. And beyond that, it's once you diagnose it, sometimes maybe it slips out the gate, then it becomes down to an effort play.
But this is perfect too, right? You see the tight end going across the formation here from Tommy's standpoint. He's coming to me, so I have to slow play it. They call this cross zone, right? He's coming across the formation. They're showing inside zone. Tommy takes on the offensive lineman, sees that he's able, hey, the quarterback kept this, plays off the offensive lineman. And look at Tommy running, playing downhill. He was running all over the place. So many guys, so many people from Ohio State and the fan base, like, Tommy Eichenberg's too slow to make plays. His feet are in quicksand, can't move. That is a dude that's running sideline to sideline and making a play on a quarterback who was very athletic. They came into this game, hey, this guy can run. Hey, they're going to use his legs to gain some offense. Guess what? Tommy Eichenberg playing sideline to sideline, took on an offensive lineman. He shed the block and still gets to Tyler. Guess what? Behind the line of scrimmage. Look at that. They're not making contact 4 yards down the field that we've seen so many times in the past. They are playing downhill, and you see him making another play behind the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, so important. Those tackles for loss go a really long way, obviously. And this is another perfect example that I knew you would love, because it is reading and it is reacting.
And I love this because as a linebacker, if you run this back as a pre-snap, right, you're looking at the triangle, which is basically your guards to your tailback. Notre Dame is pulling the front side guard and tackle right here to make Tommy step to his left and try and freeze him. And then they're going quick pitch left. Well, guess what? Tommy's reading through his triangle and sees the running back going quick pitch that way. So guess what? Takes one step, sees the pitch, and then goes and plays downhill. So many times, over the past years, we've seen those guys have one set of motion or anything that they see completely mess up their reads. And now you're seeing them play through their reads in order to play downhill and still make plays. Gets dummy pulls in front of them, still gets downhill. And the theme of all of these plays, look at this, playing downhill and making plays behind the line of scrimmage. This is massive.
And you talked about it at the start there, Zach. Ohio State did not miss a lot of tackles. And this is probably more difficult than Tommy Eichenberg made it look to be, tracking the football like this and then to make that tackle coming back across your body.
Oh, this is so hard, right? You're chasing a running back who, no offense to Tommy, I've said he's playing downhill and playing sideline, but this guy that's quicker than you, right? That's what we get from a linebacker standpoint. But guess what? Takes the proper pursuit angle, is still able to make a play. And guess what? He knows his guys on the inside are chasing down and playing downhill behind him. And so he knows, hey, if anything, I got to try and make this running back cut back on me because that's where all my help is. And you see him get his head across. You see him still make a play. And you see Zach Harrison and Steel Chambers there to clean anything up.
A phenomenal performance there for Tommy Eichenberg and the Silver Bullets. They get to 1-0 with a 21-10 win over Notre Dame. I don't know, Zach. I think maybe this year doing some BuckIQ breakdowns might be a little more fun for the defense. I don't know. What do you think?
Oh, man, it's going to be an exciting. I was juiced up Saturday night watching this team, and oh, my gosh, every Monday and Tuesday from here on out, the rest of the year, we're going to be watching these guys ball out, and the Silver Bullets are back.
All right. It's fun. Can't wait to do it with you again for another full season, buddy. He's Zach Boren. I'm Austin Ward. Thanks for your insight. Thanks for watching us on the podcast. We'll see you next week.